Hi, and welcome to the Eugene Family YMCA YouTube channel. My name's Kim, and I'm going to be bringing you a lovely stretch routine today. Make sure before you begin any exercise routines that you have a safe and secure space around you. Today we'll be doing some things on the floor, as well as our hands and knees to make sure you have proper cushioning underneath. As always, make sure your doctor knows before you start any exercise routine. If you feel lightheaded, dizzy, or short of breath at any point, please stop the video. All exercises are done today at your own risk. And make sure before you do any of this that you warm up properly. A good stretch is only going to be effective if the muscles are already warm. All right, let's get going. We're going to start today standing. We're going to take our feet a little bit more than hip width. In fact, a lot more than hip width apart. Nice and wide. Toes are going to be facing forward. We're simply going to go side to side. We'll start going to the left and then to the right. Nice gentle movement in here. Side to side, making sure that our knee doesn't go past our toe. One knee bends while the other stays straight. Let's go to the left and let's stay to the left. Make sure that that right foot is out far enough that you can have a good bend while keeping this leg straight. You're gonna start to feel the stretch here on the inner side of the right thigh. Place your weight and your hands on that left leg. Sink down into it and hold. Make sure to breathe the whole time. Now, if you want a little bit more for this one, we're gonna keep our right hand here on our left thigh and take our left hand up toward the ceiling with a spinal rotation. Just go into your range of motion for this one. If this feels like too much on the neck, go ahead and bring your head down and keep the stretch located in the shoulder. Holding for one more deep breath. Exhale and then shift to the right side. Both toes are still pointing forward. We're gonna hold it here first, getting that stretch there on the left side. Nice and tall, straight spine. And again, if you're ready, we're gonna add that rotation to this one, keeping our left hand stationary, right hand lifts and reaches to the ceiling. Now you might find that one side rotates more than the other, and that's pretty natural for us. We typically have more range of motion on one side more than the other. Let's come back into the center, circle those hips out. We're gonna bring our feet back into the center. Little heel toe in. We're gonna go ahead and get some calf stretches. I'm gonna turn to the side so you can see. I'm gonna start with my left leg behind me, my right leg in front. A large enough stance that I start to feel it in the back of my calf. Pressing the heel down to the floor. Making sure that my feet are always hip width apart. We want to make sure that we're on train tracks and not a tightrope. Push that heel down. If you're not feeling a big enough stretch, take a bigger step back. Coming up onto our toes, we're going to feel it on the base of our foot, all those flexors. And then press the heel back down to re-engage the calf. One more time, coming up onto our back toes. This time we can scooch forward just a bit. Rock our hips forward like we're tucking our tail, bending our knees and sinking into the stretch. This is going to change it to a hip flexor stretch, feeling it there in the front of that left hip. Now if you want a little more, you can take that left arm, bring it up, and even over the body. Just a bit, holding it here. This is an amazing stretch. It's going to undo all that sitting we might be doing. More deep breath in, exhale, come on out. Take a step forward with that left foot so it's just behind the right. Right heel is down, right leg is straight, left leg's gonna bend as we hinge forward for a hamstring stretch. Heel is down, toes up to the ceiling, we're shining our taillights back behind us. Now your hands can be on your hips or they can be resting here on the left thigh or reaching towards those toes. Let's take a deep breath as we come in. Exhale and go down one more time. Really flat back this time, reaching for those toes. Eyes are down. Take a moment, drop those toes to the floor. Round yourself back up. We're gonna switch and go to the other side. This time my left foot is forward, my right foot is back. They're both still parallel to one another and hip width apart. I'm gonna push my right heel down to the floor to get a calf stretch in. So you should feel it in the bottom part of your leg. Holding it here, making sure we have a big enough stance to really get that muscle engaged. This time we're gonna come up onto our toes, getting those lovely flexors under the foot. This one should feel really good. And then push that back down, re-engage that calf stretch one more time. And then this time, as we come up onto our toes, we're gonna tuck our tail, rocking those hips forward, keeping that chest open. Sink both knees down to really get the front of that left hip. You should feel it from the front of the hip, maybe all the way down, close to the knee. Nice and tall with this stretch, keep breathing. And then for a little bonus this time, we're gonna take that right arm up and over the top for a little lean, just to get a little bit more out of it. One more, deep breath in. Exhale, lower that arm, step forward with the right. This time the left heel is in front. Heel is down, toe is up, hands coming on the waist or the bent leg. We're gonna hinge forward, holding that stretch. Now you might feel this in your calf, behind the knee, perhaps the upper hamstring. Whatever part is the tightest in that chain, that's where you're gonna feel it first. Let's take a breath in, nice and tall, make sure the back is straight. Let's go back down. This time we're gonna reach for the toes. Keeping the chest open, not letting the head drop or the spine round. Hold it here. We're gonna drop those toes down just to change that stretch up just a little bit. Round the shoulders this time and round yourself completely up. All right, a little bit of upper body here. We're gonna start with a little bit of upper back. So we're gonna link our fingers together, press them out in front of us. Pretend we're gonna pull those fingers apart, but they're not gonna go anywhere. As we do that, we're straightening our arms, dropping our chin, and rounding the upper back. Creating tension between the shoulder blades. Big round, think about pulling them apart. Take a deep breath in, and on that inhale, bring those arms overhead. Reaching up to the sky, the ceiling, as high as you can today. Exhale, release that, bring your hands behind. Put them in your imaginary back pockets. Fingers pointing down. And then squeeze those elbows back, opening the chest. And you can bring the chin slightly up to the ceiling. Big breath in here. Fill the lungs. Exhale, let's do all that again. We're reaching our palms forward, fingers interlocked, dropping the chin, rounding that upper spine. Feeling those lungs expand and the shoulder blades separate, creating space in the upper back. Inhale up, reaching to the ceiling. Big breath in. Exhale. Hands go back to the small of the back or into those imaginary back pockets. Elbows go back, chest is open. Call this a nice proud chest. Opening up, inhale, exhale, and release. Now, if you're comfortable coming down into a downward dog, we're gonna do that next. If not, you can just find your way safely down onto the floor. We're gonna start on a mat or a place that's cushioned for us. We're simply gonna fold forward, sliding our hands down our body, bending your knees if you need to, walking our hands out, hips stay up. We're gonna get an extra little calf stretch in here, maybe pedal those feet out just a little bit. And then we're gonna drop our knees, coming down onto all fours. Now making sure that our hands are underneath our shoulders, our knees are underneath our hips, keeping our back flat. And for most of this, your gaze is gonna focus right between your hands. We're gonna start with a little thread the needle. So we're gonna take our left arm and reach it up toward the ceiling for a nice thoracic rotation, reaching up to your level. And then pretend that this is a needle and this is a thread, and this is the eye of the needle. We're gonna go right in between, press ourselves down. Hips go back. If you want, you can look for that left hand rotating through the spine. Holding in here for one more breath. Big inhale. Exhale through the mouth. And unthread. Place that left hand down. Right hand's turn. It's going to reach up to the sky. Nice rotation. You can see it from the other angle this time. Taking that thread through the eye of the needle. Dropping back down. Hips go back to heels. And you can rotate this time, looking for that right hand. Holding it down here. One more inhale. On the exhale, let's unthread that needle. Hands right in front of us. Toes are flat. We're going to push our hips as far back as we can. We're going to reach our arms forward and let our head drop down for a little child's pose. Now, if you can, you want to push your hips all the way back to the heels. If they don't quite reach, just get them as far as they can. You can open up your knees if you need to allow those hips to go back a little more. Spreading those fingers out, push your palms into the floor. Getting that stretch into the back of the shoulder blades by adding a little bit of pressure into this one. Dropping your head down, exhaling. Deep breath in through the nose. Exhale, release into the stretch. Inhale, lengthening that spine. Exhale and release. Come on back up onto all fours. We're gonna go into a calf stretch. So first we're gonna go and take our left leg and send it directly back behind us, digging that toe into the ground and pushing the heel away from us. Okay, you should start to feel this in the back of that calf. And then we're gonna take that left foot. We're gonna swing it as far over to the right as we can, sinking down onto our right leg and lowering down for the modified pigeon. This is gonna get the outside of your right hip. Breathing into that. And then coming back up, taking that left leg, swinging it all the way out to the left side, and let it sink down. So from the side, it should look like this. Lowering ourselves down, feeling the inside there of the left leg. You can keep yourself propped upright if that feels better, or sink into the floor. Your hips are gonna tell you how far they want you to go here. Make sure you're releasing that quad stretch and releasing that knee. All right, let's bring that left leg back in. We're gonna do the same thing on the right side. So we're gonna stick that right leg behind us, digging the toe into the ground, creating some resistance with the ground to get that stretch into the calf. Pressing back and holding. This time we're gonna take the right leg and we're gonna sweep it all the way over to the left as far as we can. Shoelaces should be towards the ground, sinking down into it. Now you might need to rock and roll a little bit. Find that stretch. You're gonna know it when you get there. It'll tell you, hi, I'm your glute medius. I'm really glad you came to visit me today. Find that stretch, hold it in there. Breathe into the stretch. Inhale. Exhale. You might be able to fold yourself a little farther down. Rocking side to side. And then let's take that right leg, bring it back in. And this time the right leg is gonna go all the way out to the right side, sliding away from us. Sinking down into it. Trying to keep the foot flat on the floor if you can. Feeling the stretch through the inner thigh here. Again, you might need to be upright, and that's just fine. You're still getting a stretch in. Or come down to the elbows, sinking down into your stretch. You might want to rock forward and back with this one. That might change it up for you just a bit. All right, and then we're gonna come down onto our left side. And when we come down onto our left side, we're gonna make a little bicep pillow here out of our left arm. And then our legs are gonna go straight. We're gonna take our top right leg and pull the heel back to our glute. You can grab onto it if you have that range of motion. Now, if you feel a little too wobbly forward and back, go ahead and turn that left leg into a kickstand by bending it. Now with this stretch, we want to put a little more intention into it. Try taking that right shoe and pushing it into the palm of your right hand. It's going to get a little extra chest stretch into it. Then think about squeezing that right glute and pushing your hip forward. You can feel that really deepens the stretch. Good, one more time, deep breath in. And exhale. I don't think we can stretch our hip flexors too much. Every time we sit in the car, at the desk, on the computer, watching TV, that muscle's tightening up. So this is a great way to release that. Go ahead and release that right leg. We're gonna bring both of our feet out here in front of us, stacking them together, bringing both hands in front like a little sandwich. I'm gonna give you two versions of a rainbow. Level one, I'm gonna take my right arm, and I'm gonna go ahead and bring it up to the ceiling, and then all the way down to the opposite side. Try and relax that right shoulder down. So we have a lovely spinal twist here. Deep breath in, and on the exhale, I'm gonna bring it back over. You can keep going that way if that's what feels good to you. Otherwise, we're gonna get some more range of motion in our shoulder by taking those right fingers. We're gonna crawl them overhead like we're tracing a rainbow over us. Try to keep in contact with the ground as much as you can. Fully opening out to a nice T with the arms, holding it here, and then crawling them back overhead. You can do double duty here if you got a little dust mop, want to clean the floor at the same time. Let's go one more time, whichever level feels good for you. Up, overhead, get that lovely twist in. Let gravity help you, pulling that right shoulder toward the floor, making sure that the left shoulder stays down and the hips stay in contact. And back over to the side. All right, we're gonna switch to the other side. You can just roll to your opposite side. I'm gonna flip the other way. All right, this time our bicep pillow is gonna be made with our right elbow underneath us. We're gonna straighten both legs, taking the left leg, pulling it back behind us. Again, the right leg can bend for a kickstand if you're feeling unsecure here. So while we're doing this, I also want to note, trying to keep those thighs parallel. We don't want this one pointing to the sky or in front of us. We want to keep it parallel to the ground and pointing away. Engage the stretch by pushing the shoelaces into the hand, by squeezing that left glute and pushing the hips forward. Holding it here. One more deep breath in and exhale. And release. Bringing both hands in front of us, we're gonna try both levels of that rainbow again. Bringing the knees in front, feet are stacked, hands are sandwiched together. This time we're taking the left arm. We're gonna bring it up on an inhale to the ceiling and exhale down to the floor. Holding it down here, deep breath in. And travel on the exhale, bringing it back over. Let's try level two if you're ready. We're gonna take the left hand and crawl it overhead. Make as big of a rainbow as you can. Out to the side. Let yourself relax into this one. Gravity pulling that shoulder down. Now you don't wanna rock off that hip. You don't wanna turn completely over. Keep your thighs in contact with the ground. Bring that arm back up and over one more time, whichever level feels good for you. Up, over the top or up through the ceiling, and down, hanging out here, and coming back over. Now we would love it if we could spend 40 seconds to a full minute on each of these stretches. In this video, we won't quite have time, but you're welcome to extend your stretching routine, making sure you thoroughly stretch each muscle group. And if one feels tight or starts to talk to you, that's probably the one you need to spend a little more time with. All right, I hope you guys are feeling good and refreshed. Thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.